Why do you think she's doing this?
I'm not going to question her motive. I'm not going to get into that at all. I don't know why she's saying this. I don't know why after 27 years, all of a sudden this gets raised. I don't understand it.
Yeah, there was something he said that I didn't want to say, and I didn't want to say it because it's the thing that stays in my head over and over, and it's a thing that kind of stayed with me over the years. But he said, when he had me against the wall after I pulled away, and he had said, "Hey, come on, I heard you liked me," and I knew he was angry right after he took his finger. He just pointed at me and he said, "You're nothing to me." And then he just looked at me and he goes, "You're nothing."
Rape is the penetration, no matter how slight, of the vagina or anus with any body part or object, or oral penetration by a sex organ of another person without the consent of the victim. Everyone who is paying attention knows that a woman named Tara Reade claims that Joe Biden, presidential candidate, raped her. Let's hear her description of what happened.
We were alone, and it was the strangest thing. There was no exchange, really. He just had me up against the wall. And I was wearing a skirt and, a business skirt, but I wasn't wearing stockings. It was kind of a hot day that day, and I was wearing heels. And I remember my legs had been hurting from the marble, of the Capitol, walking. And so I remember that kind of stuff. I remember that, and it was kind of an unusually warm day. And I remember I was wearing a blouse, and he just had me up against the wall, and the wall was cold. And I remember it happened all at once. The gym bag, I don't know where it went. I handed it to him, it was gone. And then his hands were on me and underneath my clothes. And and then he went down my skirt, but then up inside it. And he penetrated me with his fingers, whatever. And he was kissing me at the same time, and he was saying something to me. He said several things, and I can't remember everything he said. I remember a couple of things. I remember him saying first, before, as he was doing it, "Do you want to go somewhere else?" And then him saying to me, when I pulled away, he got finished doing what he was doing, and I kind of was pulled back, and he said, "Come on, man, I heard you liked me."
Under the standard definition of rape, these facts, if true, prove that Joe Biden is a rapist. No question about this. Biden, of course, denies the claim.
She says in 1993, Mr. Vice President, that you pinned her against the wall and reached under her clothing and penetrated her with your fingers. Would you please go on the record with the American people? Did you sexually assault Tara Reade?
No, it is not true. I'm saying unequivocally, it never happened. And it didn't. It never happened.
Everyone who is paying attention also knows that the Democrats woke up in a box when it comes to Ms. Reade's claim.
You were unequivocal, Mr. Vice President, back in 2018 during the Kavanaugh controversy and hearings. And you said that women should be believed. You said this: "For a woman to come forward in the glaring lights of focus nationally, you've got to start off with the presumption that at least the essence of what she is talking about is real, whether or not she forgets the facts, whether or not it's been made worse or better over time." She's going to be going on national television on Sunday. Tara Reade is coming forward in the glaring lights. To use your words, should we not start off with the presumption that the essence of what she's talking about is real? She says you sexually assaulted her.
I bring this up not to make a judgment about the claim or to laugh at how ridiculous the Democrats are. Instead, I observe that the Democrat Party is in the middle of a schizophrenic episode. On the one hand, I don't believe that Ms. Reade's allegations materialized out of the blue. It is my opinion that the paramount goal of the Democrat Party is to quash populism, to prevent the people from having a voice in their government. In this endeavor, they are firmly aligned with the Republican Party. However, I do not wish to digress. The point is that before the corona, the economy was generating good enough numbers that the Democrats had no reason to hope or believe that they could beat Trump. Thus, their only real goal in this election cycle was to prevent the people from being heard. Finding someone who could beat Trump was an afterthought, particularly considering that the sure way to beat Trump involves giving the people what they want. The corona, however, has disrupted the economy, and frankly, it looks like the Democrat politicians are doing everything they can to prolong the suffering of the people. The Democrats know that the more the people are distressed, the more likely the people will vote for change. The Democrats are watching the polls. They know that the corona is eroding Trump's ratings. If this continues, losing is no longer inevitable. The Democrats now have a chance to win. The problem is that even they know they can't win with Biden. Biden is dripping in 50 years of lies and corruption, and most of the time he doesn't even know where he is. This is going to be a wipeout. The rape case is their nasty way of sticking a knife in his back. It is their way of forcing him out. And if you listen carefully, you can already hear their chitter-chatter about other possible candidates. On the other hand, the Democrats are testing the public's tolerance for the rape allegation, since replacing Biden would be a public relations nightmare. Towards this end, the New York Times published an argument that it is moral both to believe Tara Reade and also to vote for Joe Biden. The argument is wrapped up in a seventh grader's understanding of the relevant philosophy. Needless to say, it boils down to a judgment that Trump and the Republicans are worse than Biden and his history of rape, so that voting for Biden is morally acceptable. This is low-grade mental masturbation for the smart kids who can't face the fact that at their core they are utterly without moral principle. One of their spokesmen put this lesser of two evils argument more frankly.
Democrats are the party of choice. We can choose not to completely fuck ourselves over this. She says Biden attacked her, and he says he didn't. Those are their positions. How about this for yours? Don't know, never will, don't care. There is so much at stake in this next election. The entire world needs to be put back together like Humpty Dumpty. Why should one person's victimhood trump everyone else's?
The Democrat Party is arguing, fuck Tara Reade. Beating Trump is more important than worrying about whether or not Joe Biden is a rapist. No question about this. This is disturbing for at least two reasons. First, what kind of a society is left if it is to be a society without an objective, coherent, and abiding morality? Morality is an informal system which governs behavior affecting others with the goal of lessening evil or harm. A game is a paradigm, in that the players in the game know the rules and the object of the game. Just as with the rules of a game, it is not irrational for people to be guided by morality and to judge the behavior of others according to the rules. If there were no moral principles to guide public governance, it would make no difference whatsoever who holds elected office. The only thing which would exist is corruption. And even if you could brand the corruption red this or blue that, the public would not discern any difference in the application of its power. It would just be raw self-interest, and nearly always financial in nature. Second, the Democrat Party is providing rare insight into its conscience and its consciousness, and it's fucking ugly. The Democrats always make a lot of noise about the rule of law, but what are the facts? Obama began his presidency by whitewashing the CIA's illegal torture program and ended it by abusing the intelligence apparatus to illegally spy on Trump. In between, he started wars without legal authority, used drones to kill civilians, aided and abetted Wall Street's crimes, prosecuted journalists and protesters, and worked his hardest when he worked to destroy democracy itself. Obviously, the Republicans went along with all of this. There are very few heroes in Washington, and most of them are sent into early retirement or an early grave. But we're talking about the Democrats, and they have proven unequivocally that they are completely amoral and will not represent the people in the government, no matter what they promise. Now they are telling you that they don't care if their presidential candidate is a rapist. Now they are admitting that they have no allegiance to any abiding morality, to anything which common people hold as decent. Who in his right mind could vote for a Democrat? Who in his right mind would trust a Democrat with his grandchildren's future? In conclusion, the premise that all women must be believed has always been horrifying. Not only is this way of thinking naive, since females will lie about rape, but also in our constitutional system, everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Of course, that's the rule in a court of law, and this debate is taking place in the court of public opinion. Still, the presumption of innocence is a matter of the due process which is guaranteed to all free men. Turning this upside down and presuming someone's guilt is further proof that the Democrats have no fixed principles. It is further proof that the Democrats absolutely cannot be trusted with the Constitution. I don't know if Tara Reade is telling the truth. I do know that under the morality prevailing in our modern civil society, it is not moral both to believe Tara Reade and to vote for Joe Biden. If you disagree with this, you ain't nothing but a lying dog-faced pony soldier, and the person you're lying to is yourself. But Trump is not an acceptable excuse.